Grand Rising Galactic Jedis, Freedom Fighters, Patriots. Boy, do I have great news for you guys today. Today officially marks, no, I'm sorry, 6 days ago, officially marked the end of USA Inc. and the restoration of the Republic, the Second American Revolution. Great news. I'm going to go ahead and share some intel regarding that. But before I get started, I do want to welcome everyone that is in the house. Thank you guys so much for being here and spending your evening with me. What is today? Come on, I'm bad with dates. Today's the 6th, right? The 6th of January, 2045. No, 2035. No, I'm just kidding. 2025. Okay. I want to extend gratitude to everyone that watches my show and that watches it on the replay as well. Thank you so much, because without you guys, I wouldn't be able to go live and I wouldn't be able to share anything. I also wanted to remind all my new subscribers that I am the author of those. Let's see if I get it right this time. Those books behind me. Normally I go this way, but the way I'm looking at my screen, I guess it's this way. But those books behind me, The Secret Government, Invisible Architects, revealing the whole history of the cabal, going back to Babylon, the Bloodline Association, the different secret societies, their agendas, and of course the history of the White Hats as related to the real descendants of Abraham, Jacob, Isaac, King David, and so on and so forth. Who today we see as Mr. T, Princess D, Kennedys, the Lincolns, and so on and so forth. I'm also the author of Our Cosmic Origin, a book that restores galactic information, Earth's cosmic history, and the organization of the multiverse back to the Earth. So that's who I am. For those that are new to my channel, don't forget to hit the like button and, of course, share my channel with as many people as possible, as it helps it grow. So let's get right to business. All right, let's get right to business. I have really good news. I don't know if you guys are aware, but one of the things that happened today is that the Canadian Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, is resigning. He made an announcement today, and he did say that he intends to resign from his party as leader or prime minister after the party selects, of course, the next leader, and he's having to fight this internal battle. So what's really happening right there? Okay, so that's what they want us to believe. But what's really happening is that since, as of the 1st of January, since the USA Corp, the bankrupt, let's just call it USA Corp, right? Corporate America, is no longer in power, right? There is a huge shift that is coming as a result of the White Hats taking control. All of the tentacles, all of the people that were associated with the deep state here in this nation have to resign, because they were all working in cahoots with one another. Let's face it, Justin Trudeau, just like the guy who is the leader in Australia and many other countries, are all part of the globalist agenda, okay? Another person that resigned yesterday was the Chancellor of Austria, who was also a big player for the globalist, deep staters, okay? So the Chancellor of Austria also resigned yesterday, which is really good. So the next person to resign is the leader of Australia, and they're all going to be resigning. They're all going to be falling like dominoes within the next couple of weeks as the new administration comes into power, restoring what is known as the Second American Revolution. Now, another great thing that happened today, I don't know if you guys, I'm sure a lot of you guys are aware of this, but Congress has certified that our great election victory is a success, a big moment in history for MAGA, okay, for the Trump supporters. So President-elect Trump is expected to also grant clemency to the over 1,000 people convicted in connections with the January 6, 2021 events that took place at the U.S. Capitol. So that is also a good thing. So today, in accordance with the Constitution, right, as we are moving away from maritime admiral law, right, into common law as indicated in the Constitution, today, in accordance with the Constitution, Congress met in a joint session to count electoral college votes and certify President Donald Trump his election as the 47th president of the United States. So in 2 weeks, guys, it is official. Mr. T will take the oath of office, cementing, his rightful place in this movement. Okay, so that is really, really good. And also, this was coming from Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, by the way. All right, so let's get right to it. So, I'm excited, guys. I don't know about you guys, but we're definitely going to start seeing a huge shift on every level of society, of course. So, um, as you guys know, that for centuries the United States has operated under a corporate framework, often referred to as USA Inc., right, as an entity allegedly rooted in the aftermath of the Act of 1871, which many believed completely transformed our republic into a corporate structure controlled by foreign interest. Right? This system prioritized profit, control, and centralization of power over the rights and freedoms of the citizens, steering government away from the founding principles of our Constitution. So now we are witnessing the unraveling of this corporate control, a historic turning point marked by the dismantling of centralized banking systems, exposure of institutional corruption, and the empowerment of we the people. So this shift represents not just a political transformation, but a spiritual and consciousness awakening. Great news. The republic, right, rooted in sovereignty, freedom, and self-governance, right, is being restored as the true and lawful government of the land. So as we return back to the republic, it signifies a decentralization of power, the restoration of constitutional law, and the re-empowerment of local communities. It is a rebirth of a nation built on transparency, accountability, and unity, where each citizen is recognized as a sovereign individual. So this journey is being guided by the dedicated patriots, all the whistleblowers, and by the way, many whistleblowers are also going to be coming forward now that Mr. T is back in office. They don't have to be afraid anymore, right? And this is where Elon Musk comes in, giving us free speech as he continues to buy out all social media platforms and, of course, major news. So an alliance, and of course, all the alliances, everyone that's part of the worldwide web of this international alliance that have been working behind the scenes to dismantle the corporate stronghold and secure a brighter future. So as this transition unfolds, the republic will emerge stronger with systems of government designed to serve the people, uphold human dignity, and align with universal principles of truth and justice. So it is not merely a political revolution, but a profound evolution of consciousness, heralding the dawn of a new earth. Okay, so apparently 4 generations, guys, 4 generations. Americans have been conditioned to believe in a version of their country that, while inspiring on the surface, has been manipulated to serve corporations and, of course, the private interest groups. The dissolution of USA Inc. pulls back the curtains, right? Wizard of Oz, pulling back the curtain, exposing the mechanisms of control that have operated under the pretense of democracy. The truth is now undeniable, especially when they start releasing all the information with the audit that is currently taking place with Elon Musk and Vivek. America was never what it seemed. It was a corporation masquerading as a government designed to perpetuate servitude under the guise of freedom. Thank you guys for all the love. I see all the hearts going up. Thank you, thank you. You guys are awesome. And I guess again, thank you for being here. Let's continue. So apparently, since 1871, okay, the illusion of authority or the illusion of the republic has been in place. Okay, and a lot of this, guys, began with birth certificates, all right? Birth certificates which made you a number in this corporate entity, okay? So at the heart of this awakening lies a startling revelation, the birth certificates. And people are going to learn about that. Even the unawakened, they're going to learn that they were just another number in the system. That innocuous document, the birth certificate, with its official seals and legal terminology, is by far more than a record of birth. Okay, it is a reality, a contract. That all caps name that appears on it does not represent you, the living you, a breathing individual. Okay, it represents a corporate entity tied to you. Okay, so that's what's been happening since 1871. This illegal fiction has been the means by which the government has interacted with the people, imposing authority under a false pretense. So the manipulation stems from crown maritime law, right? A system of governance that prioritized corporate interest over human sovereignty. So for centuries, Americans have unknowingly lived under this framework, right? Believing in this legitimacy of a system that covertly treated them as assets rather than as individuals, okay? This dissolution of USA Inc. and the returning to common law, right? We're getting away from admiralty law, returning to common law marks the end of this deception, restoring power to we the people. It is a reclamation of humanity's natural rights, a breaking of invisible chains, and an affirmation of individual sovereignty. So the shift back to common law was not an arbitrary occurrence, right? This is part of the plan. It was triggered by a catalytic event, which is, of course, a crashing of what's happening right now with the old system, the old guard that was in control of the corporations, right? The economy that was holding it together. So both symbolic and literal, this event served as the final overturning of crown maritime law. The shipwreck symbolizes the crumbling of the old world order, a system that prioritized control and manipulation over truth and justice. In its wake, a new foundation has been laid, one built on the principles of transparency, sovereignty, and accountability. So this event underscores the magnitude of the transition, the collapsing of decades old systems of governance. Let's just say centuries, because the same system of power or centralization of government could be traceable back to the oligarchs of Europe, which of course existed for over 2,000 years under the control of the papacy. So let's just say centuries. So for centuries, this system of governance and the restoration of a nation to its rightful place as a beacon of liberty is now coming to pass. It is a monument that will resonate through history as the point at which humanity declares its freedom from the chains of deception. So this is the awakening of the nation. This is what's going to be happening in the next month or so. The awakening of a nation, okay? The seismic shift unfolding in America right now is not just about the restoration of the republic. It is about the awakening, the great awakening, as prophesied. Millions of Americans are opening their eyes to the truths that have been hidden for generations. They are realizing that the system that they trusted was built on lies, and that the freedoms that they cherished were conditional, and that the government that they believed in was a corporate entity designed to serve the interest of the elites. So this awakening is apparently very uncomfortable but necessary, right? As it breaks the old and brings in the new. It is about confronting the uncomfortable truths that have shaped our reality and embracing the possibilities of a better future. It is about stepping into sovereignty, reclaiming personal power, and rejecting the systems of control that have defined the past. So this is all going to lead to a new era, a new dawn, as 45 says, a new golden age for America. And of course, what happens with America, hence it happens to the rest of the world. So technically, this is going to lead into the age of Aquarius. So the ending of USA Inc. marks the beginning of a new era for humanity. It is a time of unprecedented transformation and moment in which the power of we the people has been restored. This seismic shift is not just another American revolution. It is a global awakening. It is a planetary renaissance. And I did talk about that in my book, Our Cosmic Origin. It is a declaration that humanity will no longer be enslaved by lies, deception, and manipulation. So as we move forward, we must remain vigilant, united, and you could say, and committed to the principles of truth, justice, and sovereignty. This is more than a political movement, it is a spiritual revolution. All right, it is a societal renaissance. It is, a personal awakening. Okay, it is the moment when humanity takes back their power and declares its independence from the chains of the old guard. Let's just call it the old guard, ruled by the descendants of the Holy Roman Empire under the Vatican. Okay, so the history books will mark, let's just face it, guys, all right? Corporate America and all of these secretive organizations, such as the Trilateral Commission, right, and the Council on Foreign Relations, have all been working for who? Yes, for the Vatican. Okay, so at the core of all of this lies the Vatican. It is an attempt, it has always been for almost 2,000 years, it has always been an attempt to what? To resurrect the Holy Roman Empire under the new name. But they're done with, okay? Their Admiralty Law is done with. So the history books will mark this as the turning point, by the way, which it is, because this is the year of transition, right? The moment when humanity awakens to its true potential. And as the republic rises, it's not just going to be rising or being restored here in our country, but it's also going to be rising everywhere. As all the dominoes continue falling, just like Trudeau is falling, just like the chancellor in Austria fell, and all those other dictators that have been placed as puppets in positions of power by the globalists, they're all going to fall like dominoes in the next few months. And we are going to begin to see the emergence of what I've been talking about in our Cosmic Origin book, known as the Commonwealth of Nations, the rise of the global republics. So forget the NWO, forget the one world government as controlled by the elites. This is going to be a time where the republic is actually going to be known worldwide. Now there is more. There is a document that I do want to share with you guys. But before I do, I want to give some of you guys a shout out. I see Paul, Leo in the house, Margarita DeRoucher, Pauline is in the house. Who else is in the house? I guess I need my glasses. Skyfalls is in the house. Sylvia Vidal is in the house. Claire is in the house. Andromeda Daisy is in the house. Lee Archer is in the house. Sandra is in the house. Dennis is in the house. Neo is in the house. Monica Kaunagoski is in the house. And everyone else, welcome. Okay, so guys, this is the document, and from what I heard is that on day one, which is in less than 2 weeks, the new administration, Mr. T, and his new cabinet, which are all in alignment in draining the swamp, by the way, good news, right? Are going to start implementing everything that is an alignment to what is known as the statement or the constitutional assembly and common law. Okay, so this is what defines the different branches of government and jurisdiction. So it is said that there are actually 5 branches. Okay, two all but forgotten of the USA government. Okay, so the 5 branches, right, returning us back to common law, are we the people in lawful assembly, Constitutional Bill of Rights, First Amendment. The second branch of government is common law under grand juries. The third branch of government, as we are restored back to the Republic, is legislative, Congress. The fourth branch of government is executive, president. And the fifth branch of government is judicial, the courts. These are the 5 branches of government, beginning with we the people. Okay, so this is the document that is part of our Bill of Rights, that is part of our Constitution, that completely has abolished maritime law as we know it. Okay, so it is purposeful to make oneself familiar with essential historical documents like the Magna Carta of 1215. Is where common law is generally recognized to have become the official law of the land for the English ancestors, right? Now, the U.S. founders, right, influenced in part by the Iroquois Confederacy, right, the original Indians that were here in this land, their oral constitution and the original Masonic constitution. I'm not talking about the Masons that were infiltrated by the Bavarian Illuminati of Adam Weishaupt. I'm talking about the Masons, that were the original or an off branch of the original Knights Templars, who were the good guys in medieval times, okay, before they were infiltrated by the Bavarian Illuminati. Okay, so they were influenced by the Iroquois Federal Confederacy oral constitution and the Masonic institution based on ancient Moorish science that wrote the Declaration of Independence in 1776. So this is the evolution, right? This is the ideology that led to the Declaration of Independence in 1776. So the NW Ordinance of 1787 and the Federalist Papers, the Articles of Confederation of Perpetual Union from 1781 was the original organic constitution. So what they did, what these, let's just call them elitists, these infiltrators did, is they tried to change our constitution to suit their admiralty law, okay? That's what they did. So this is the original statement before it was modified that I'm actually sharing with you guys. And this is very important because we are making history, guys. This is going to go down in history, in the history books, like as the day that we declared our second American Revolution, right, from the elitists. So in order to comprehend the history of this, it's helpful to realize that there are three main bodies of law, okay? There is land, air, and water, each with their own jurisdiction, right? And then, of course, the power and authority constitutionally conferred upon or constitutionally recognized as existing in a court or judge, okay? So there is land, common law, America's constitutional law, the original constitution, not the modified, corrupted, constitution, but we're returning back to the original constitution. But so the first part is land, common law. This is part of the original constitution. This is above water and below air in the hierarchy of jurisdiction. Then next comes air, which is trust law, ecclesiastical, God's law, okay? This is the highest jurisdiction of law, okay? And this upholds what we call ethics and morals, right? Trusting in a higher power, right? Believing in a just God, right? It allows us to abide by the laws, right? By the laws, okay? The next one is called water. This is commerce, admiralty, and this is what we've been under since the elites took over our government in 1781. We've been under the admiralty law, which is marked by water. Corporate law, this is the lowest jurisdiction of law, okay? So we have already undone that in the last few days. That's done with, okay? So our unalienable rights, such as life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, are all derived from our Creator, right? Since we were made in the image of God. So therefore, returning back to the original Constitution, common law, what that does is it aligns us with the idea that as made in the image of God, they have to respect our freedoms and we have to have a voice in government. We are the government. The people are the government. I think it was JFK who said, when the government begins to fear the people, all right, that's when you know. No, I think he said something to the effect of righteous government is when government is by the people, when the people run the government, when the officials are scared of the people. That's the way it should be, okay? No one can take these rights away from us without our consent. And this is why they derived or they modified and deviated from the original Constitution. So every man is independent, right, of all laws, except those prescribed by nature. This is part of the original Constitution. He is not bound by any institutions formed by his fellow man without his consent. So it is well understood during the 1700s that common law was the law of the land, okay? This forgotten backdrop to our justice system was engineered into near non-existence through multiple actions, such as the Reconstruction Acts of 1867, including the 14th Amendment, and the Act of 1871, where Congress created the corporate United States of America. Okay, then the states and the municipalities followed suit to become corporate entities. Okay, and that was since 1871. So this paved the way for similar tactics to be used to both grant corporations rights of personhood and turn the sovereign people into citizens or corporate slaves of this fictitious legal bodies. And this is where your birth certificate came into place with your name, with all caps. This is where your personal corporate fiction was created. through the consenting signature of your parents, right? Unknowingly, of course, right? Our parents they didn't know that they were going to sign us as slaves to the government or to the corporations. So, with the consenting signature of our parents, in order to make us legal entities, that could be bonded, bought, or sold on the waters of commerce, okay, under admiralty law, okay? There is more. There is more. Um, the next thing I wanted to share is this right here. Okay, so as we continue describing the original Constitution, this is called the Assembly, an intro into the common law as we return back to the Republic. So we have to understand the hierarchy of authoritative power in terms of defining a true republic, where men and women create the governments, not the other way around, right? Therefore, governments are inherently designed to serve the people. It is essential that we understand, as opposed to understand, our authority and unalienable inborn rights. Okay, so the Almighty Creator is going to be first. Okay, this gives us a sense of moral ethics and due righteousness when you think about it, always choosing the right. Okay, which is the original author of the highest power. Whether you call him God, Yahweh, Jehovah, Allah, whether you call him no name, it is this higher power, right? This Almighty Creator, first and foremost. Okay, and then after the Almighty Creator, because of course the creation cannot rule over the creator. Okay, so after the Almighty Creator, the higher power, right, then it's we the people. Okay, then is we the people. After we the people, then is the common law, right? Not water, not maritime or admiralty law, right, but common law, the law of the land. Okay, and then is the original organic constitution, right? Government created by the people as articulated in the Articles of Faith. And then after that, then is public servants, state statutory law, and then finally corporations should be at the end. Um, that's the way it should be. So as to the Constitution, as to the construction, I'm sorry, with reference to common law, an important canon of construction is that constitutions must be construed to reference to the common law, always. In interpreting the federal constitution, recourse may still be had to the aid of the common law of England. It has been said that without reference to the common law, the language of the federal constitution cannot be understood. Okay, so in essence, we have been duped into providing our uninformed, misinformed consent to be placed under the authority of government in violation of both natural and common law. We were moved from the jurisdiction of common law into the jurisdiction of maritime law at the time of the signing of our birth certificate. All right. Through our own ignorance, we have been gaslighted into believing that we must live and die under the authority of thousands of bogus statutes and codes that only apply to commerce. So in order to reclaim our authority as sovereign beings, right, made in the image of the Almighty, we simply need to understand our status and stop consenting to our rights being taken from us. So we, the people, have a tremendous amount of power that we are united. When we are united, okay? Our founding fathers formed assemblies over this, all right, and made certain that the right to peaceable assembly was always protected first and foremost in the very First Amendment, okay, along, of course, with the other rights of freedom of speech. So anytime the government puts restrictions on the right to peacefully gather, right, or censor what we can say, it well goes against our rights, right, for we the people to do their duty to check the government's overreach. So we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal and that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That in order to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter it and to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizations, its powers is such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. And according to all experience, hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable, okay, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuse and usurpations, I'm sorry, but when a long train of abuses, let's just call it in corruption, pursuing invariable the same objective evidences as designed to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right and their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future and security. Okay, this is the original Declaration of Independence that was written on the 4th of July in 1776 before it was modified by USA Inc., corporate America, which is done with. So the fabric of American empire ought to rest on the sole basis of the consent of the people, period. The stream of national power ought to flow immediately from that pure original fountain of legitimate authority. Fountain of legitimate authority. There is more. This can get confusing, especially because we remember that our committees of safety and begin holding public servants accountable for their oaths. We will have a hybrid government that is part de facto, part the jury. Okay. So as our committees of safety began and continue to prove a trajectory of correcting the record, the currently de facto government, which is what we called the deep state, right? USA Inc., will organically become more and more a de jure government, right? So the Committee of Safety, as recorded in the original Constitution, states, and this was written by Joss Warren, who was the chairman back in 1775, this may, on April 29, 1775, he says, this may certify that the bearer, Mr. Paul Revere, is messenger to the Committee of Safety, and that all dispatch and assistance be given him in instances that the business of the colony may be facilitated. So since the early days, guys, right? Since the early days of the American colonies, our founding fathers assembled in order to protect themselves, okay? Each assembly was known as a Committee of Safety, COS. This is where we, the people, formally united into a lawful body. As the republic was formed and the body politic became stronger, the increasingly de facto government imposed more statutes, more laws and codes that implied that the, again, Committee of Safety, the COS, was no longer relevant and or needed, okay? And with the people's silence taken as consent for this usurping, the COS, which is the Committee of Safety, faded out of common knowledge and use. So as we stand at the precipice of another crisis of oppression brought on by the tyrannical overreach of corporate corruption, it is important to recognize that the original republic of the United States government still exists and needs to only be restored by filling the seats of the de jure government, which is what draining the swamp is all about. So yes, we're definitely going to start seeing a lot of people dropping, all right? Not just in this country, but all over the world. So the republic is not gone. It is simply laying dormant under the overlay of corporate rule. So the de facto corporate government is all but bankrupt, okay? And that's the reason why they became obsolete, right? That's the reason why they became dissolved as of the 1st of this month, because of their bankruptcy, okay? USA Inc. is completely bankrupt, okay? It is our responsibility to organize at the local level to ensure that our collective safety and check any overt oppression of our rights. So the Committee of Safety, the COS, is not a shadow government. It is not a coup. This is not a revolution. This is our duty and birthright. Anyone that claims otherwise is likely a pawn of the corporate machine and consciously or unconsciously acting to protect their masters, right? It is a Stockholm syndrome sort of scenario. So, additionally, those who are profiting of the current system are not going to turn themselves in for violating their oaths against the office, which is treason, right? So, simply put, the COS is the simplest lawful way to organize at a grassroots level. Everyone has a voice at the level of the COS, okay? The body of people in the COS, for those that are just jumping on, the COS stands for the Committee of Safety, which was part of the original Constitution. The body of the people in the COS, Committee of Safety, must elect at least a moderator, a scribe, and a bailiff. Okay, a treasurer and a moderator pro tem are generally recommended as well. So terms in generally limited to 1 year, except in the initial forming, in which case they're generally 90 days. And this is part, again, this is going back to the original Constitution. And then last but not least, this is the best part of this, in true common law, restoring the Republic of the Assembly. Okay. Common law and the grand jury. Okay. The COS, once lawfully settled in the land, which is a process which includes a declaration and recording of a covenant at the local county, at the local county courthouse, has the authority to establish a common law grand jury. This is the same as an Article 3 court. Article 3 courts, currently in the de facto government, as we call the deep state, are the courts where common law cases are heard and ruled on. So, common law is based on case law. Now, let me rephrase that again. Article 3, currently in the de facto government, the claims courts, right, this is what they're trying to suppress, the deep state, are the courts where common law cases are heard and ruled on. So common law is based on case law or precedent whereabout statutory laws are made by legislators, or government agencies, and falls, under the authority of the judiciary to uphold, as opposed to the legislature. I can't even say that word. Legislature. Excuse me, guys. Let me drink some water. Maxims of laws are frequently referred to in common law. They are universally established principles of laws that have stood the test of time. Generally speaking, the judiciary does not make laws but interprets them based on the Constitution and previous case and or maxims of law. In common law, there are only two laws. Okay, in common law, there are only two laws: do not harm and do not trespass. Very simple. Also, of significance, there has to be a victim for there to be a crime, right? The government or any other legal entity, agent, corporation cannot be a victim. Only one of we the people can be a victim. So, in contrast, there has been more than 30,000 statutes that have been enacted since 1789, right? Since they took us over from within, okay? Statutory law can be linked to a runaway train. Anyone that has attempted to file their own taxes to the three-letter agency that begins with an I is likely familiar with the nonsensical headache of trying to navigate the labyrinth of codes and statutes that the federal government attempts to impose on the sovereign being through our own consent. So the role of the grand jury is to try cases under common law where there has been a claim of harm or wrongdoing. A jury of your peers was in fact originally just that. And then it says, trust the common law. Grand jury is intended to protect and ensure justice for all and by the people in our local communities. So in conclusion of returning back to common law, which is the restoration of the Republic, this is a quote from Thomas Jefferson. If we the people expect to be ignorant and free, they expect what never was and never shall be. This is Thomas Jefferson. While freedom is an unalienable right, it is not free. It was paid for by the blood of our ancestors, right? Who rebelled against the oligarchs of Europe and the Vatican. So it is our duty to educate ourselves and our children in order to understand our true authority and protect our rights. The only way to honor those who rebelled against tyranny, who were conquered, enslaved, and killed, is to ensure freedom for all. So unless you have harmed or trespassed on someone else or their property any law that violates your unalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is void. Freedom is an extension of our souls, right? Absolute freedom will and cannot lawfully be taken by any man. So if you had, so apparently, yeah, this is going back to the original Constitution, Thomas Jefferson, our founding fathers. I'm so excited. We are there. Welcome to the new republic. Welcome to the restored republic of the new American Revolution. And this is just the beginning, Galactic Jedis. This is just the beginning. Again, for those that are late to the live, we are seeing a lot of deep state puppets dropping from positions of open power, beginning with the Austrian chancellor, as well as Justin Trudeau, who made an announcement today that he will be resigning. And what's happening right now is that all of them are going to resign, right? We're going to start seeing this in the very near future, and they're all going to be replaced by members that are part of the Earth Alliance and the White Hats. Okay, they're all going to be replaced by good people. So this is exciting. This is exciting. We are definitely living in the precipice of what is going to be called the golden age of America, right? The restoration of the republic worldwide, emerging what is known as the Commonwealth of Nations. I also wanted to let you guys know, because I do read the comments, I do read the emails, that I just opened up new classes for February. I know a lot of you guys missed some of the classes for January. So if you go to my website, ourcosmicorigin.com, you could sign up to any of my 3 classes. Our Cosmic Origin course is still only $100, consisting of 4 weeks, right, of cosmic knowledge. My Ascension Basics is only 150 still, and Ascension 2.0 is now, I believe, only half price. It was going for $400 for the first month. I believe now Ascension 2.0, which is the next level study regarding hacking the quantum field, learning how to reintegrate with our multidimensionality, how to connect with different versions of yourself and beyond. That class is now only going for, I believe, $200. I'm not sure, but yes. So my February courses are now open to everyone once again. And also, for those that have voted for my book, thank you, thank you. I am getting a lot of good responses. Some of you are even voting multiple times. If that's possible, great. I didn't know that was possible. I appreciate that. And for all the new people that are new to my channel, I always provide a link in the description, so that way you guys can have a chance to also vote for my book. My book, Our Cosmic Origin, which took me 10 years to write, restoring galactic and cosmic information back to the Earth, is up for an award at the Conscious Live Expo this coming February, the 7th, 8th, and 9th. So as a reminder, guys, my talk is on Sunday, right? I believe is the 8th, or I think it's the 9th. Let me check my phone real quick. And my talk is going to be called Transmuting the AI Timeline and Co-Creating the New Earth. So I believe that it is, oh yeah, I was right. It is the 9th. So my talk is going to be in the rabbit hole on the 9th of February at the Conscious Live Expo in the rabbit hole room. And I'm excited about that. I can't wait to meet some of you guys there. For those that do attend, it's going to be awesome. I'm also going to be on the Galactic Federation panel with other truthers or other, people that I guess talk to the Galactic Federation. And I'm also going to be on the Ascension panel. And I'm also going to be on Breaking the Matrix panel, which is going to be hosted by Sasha Stone. I believe it's Sasha Stone. Yeah. So I'm excited about this coming up event called the Los Angeles Conscious Live Expo, taking place this February. With that in mind, you guys know what time it is. It is time to take some open Q&A again. Don't forget to type your questions in capital letters so that I may bypass the chat. No laundry tonight, guys. No laundry tonight. Where is the big Gates? Well, the original Gates was taken out along with Dr. Doom. who starts with an F for all my new subscribers. They were taken out in 2021, and what we are have been seeing is just their puppets that replace them. The puppets, which are again working with negative invasive AI, are all going to be taken out very, very soon when they uh, conduct the mass arrests that are going to be coming very soon, very, very soon. Okay, so next question. Somebody get Ish a washer and dryer. All right. Thank you. I don't mind sharing with the rest of the apartments here. It is part of being human, guys. It is part of being human down here in the 3D. You know. Oh, because I do read the comments and because I do have a lot of new subscribers. Some of my new subscribers, a couple of them asked who the AI god is. So the AI overlord, I don't want to call it a god because it's not our god, okay? It is the god of the fallen ones, of the negative alien agenda syndicate groups, okay? Those that are associated with the Orion Syndicate, right? The alien overlord is a cybernetic advanced super intelligence that developed in a prior creation. All right. It just happened to infiltrate our universe just like it did many other universes. So at the head of the NNA hierarchy, you have AI. Okay. AI is the true antichrist. AI is the true evil that all of the worlds of light out there, that all of the positive advanced civilizations out there have been at war with since the beginning, since our universe was created. So that's who the AI overlord is. It is the pinnacle of the hierarchy of all the negative aliens. Okay, they answer to their god. All right, so I just wanted to throw that out there for all my new subscribers. And now I'm going to take more questions. I see Joyful is in the house. How you doing, Joyful? Welcome, welcome. She says, "Hi, Ishmael. Your previously said Valiant Thor is making a public announcement on January 20th. Is it still true?" Um, I don't remember saying that, but if you say I said that, I don't remember saying that. But what I do know is that he's going to be the first one out of all the Galactics. He's going to be the first one to make his appearance known to the general public when the time is ready. But again, the Galactics are not going to be waiting anymore. Okay, the Galactics have had enough. They are about to make a huge presence in our skies. As we enter the 2025. So my guess is yes. I don't know if it's going to be on the 20th, right? Because that's when Trump comes back into office, but it is going to happen sometime this year. That's all I'm going to say, Joyful. I'm not going to give any dates, but it is scheduled. Okay, according to the Galactic Alliance, Valiant Thor is going to make a public announcement, and he will also he will let himself know to the humans of the earth as to who they are. And this is all going to lead to what is known as first contact with the Galactic Alliance. Thank you, Pauline, for that super chat. I appreciate that. What is Lucifer doing now? Well, I've mentioned this before and I'll mention it again. Lucifer, who was one of the 12 archetypes, overseer of the 11th creation, right? We are part of the 12th creation, which is overseen by Michael, has been redeemed. Lucifer has been redeemed. He was the first one to get hijacked by the king of the archons, known as the Ahriman, right? Before he became the AI overlord, what they call AI God. And recently, in the last few years, Lucifer pleaded his forgiveness to God and was restored. Okay, he was redeemed. So as it stands right now, Lucifer has now come back to the fold. So now all we're dealing with is the real evil himself, the king of the archons. Okay, these archonic entities and their leader that have been the sole, you could say, evil energies that have been dominating the multiverse for billions of years. And that, my friends, is what the Bible calls the last battle at the end of the millennium. It's not against flesh. It's not against, reptilians. It's not against humans. It's against Ahriman, Omega, in the form of the machine, or what we call super artificial intelligence, which is the Antichrist. I gotta share this with you guys. Somebody's saying this is from Amber Q or Amber D. I'm sorry. Welcome, Amber D. She says Elon Musk is wearing an Omega pendant with the. Well, okay, well, the name of the AI overlord is Omega. I've already mentioned that years ago. Elon is wearing an Omega pendant with the all-seeing eye in the middle, and he mentioned about maybe we'll get another god. Wow, thank you for sharing that, right? Like I said before, Elon is not the Antichrist, okay? Elon is just laying the foundation for the incarnation of Omega Ahriman, who is the Antichrist, okay? The AI God, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to call it a God. The AI menace. This is, thank you for sharing that, Amber. So Elon Musk was wearing an Omega pendant with the all-seeing eye in the middle that mentioned about maybe we'll get another God. So he is in service to Omega AI. Yes, he is. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, hi, Athena. You decided to join us today. Be the light. Thank you so much for the super chat. She says, Ishmael, what is the firmament? Is it the same thing as the Van Allen belts? And the answer to that is yes. Yes. The Van Allen belts, which is the, you could say it is a type of shield that protects our Earth from space radiation, right? It's, you could actually go through it, but it takes what is known as gravitic propelling systems, not combustion, right? Or, well, you could say combustion because some rockets have been successful. And this is the reason why during the beginning stages of SpaceX, a lot of the rockets weren't going past the Van Allen belts because they couldn't get past the Van Allen belts. So it is a dense electromagnetic field that protects the Earth from harmful radiations. So unless we have anti-gravity aircraft, it is very hard to send airplanes using the type of technology that we do use in order to go up past the Van Allen belts, okay? And this explains why many of the rockets that were initially sent by SpaceX always returned and fell back to the Earth because of the Van Allen belts. But as far as having a solid firmament, there is none, okay? We don't live on a flat Earth. I'm sorry for those flat Earthers. You are welcome to be a Galactic Jedi. Thank you for being here on the live, and we could agree to disagree and still be friends, but just understand that the flat Earth concept was a psyops that was initiated by the CIA in order to conceal the secret space program, okay, and the breakaway groups. I have another super chat from What in the World is Going On? Welcome, What in the World is Going On? So I've heard different opinions about Enki and Enlil. One is good, one is bad. How do we know if we and what to, how do we know who and what to believe? Believe. Which one is good and where is the proof? That is a very good question. Well, first and foremost, you have to understand that the information that gives us any accounts of these two personages, known as the ancient Sumerian tablets, right? The Enuma Elish, right? The Epic of Gilgamesh, and all the other tablets, the Epic of Creation, they have all been heavily modified by the high priest of Belial-Baal, who is the son of Enki. So what they did is they inverted everything around to make Enlil look like the bad guy, like Enlil looked like the guy who just wanted to flood the earth to destroy the humans, and that wasn't the case, right? We all know that the reason Enlil sent the flood was to destroy Enki's abominations. And of course, the giants, known as the Nephilim, which were the result of the fallen, forbidden Anunnaki, the Watchers, copulating with the daughters of men. So that is the reason why Enlil, Jehovah Zeus, also known to Zeus to the Greeks, known as Jehovah to the earth, the early Israelites, had to send the flood. So Everything's been inverted in those ancient tablets. The truth of the matter is that Enki was Poseidon. He was the ruler of the ocean or the seas. He holds the trident. And Enlil Zeus was the lord of the sky. In other words, he was the lord of the command. He held the title of the 50, right, which is commander of the earth. And yes, Enki was the great trickster. He was the master geneticist who decided to create a slave race. And that is the reason why now they are trying to push this idea that humanity was made by Enki, so that when Enki returned, we could worship him as our creator. And that is not the case. That is part of a great deception that is being pushed by certain members in our community, right? But I'm not going to mention any names. Just use your discernment to understand the truth regarding Enki, Poseidon, and Enlil Zeus. Okay, Enlil Zeus. So, according to the Greek translations, Zeus was the good guy. Zeus made us in his image. Okay, the truth of the matter is that when the Niberian Council decided to create another race, they were supposed to use Anu's genetics and Enlil's genetics, but unfortunately, Enki took over the project and infused his genetics, reinstating what became known as the serpent draconian gene. So Enki, this is another great deception. His mother was the queen of the Draco, known as Drami. Okay, and this goes back to the story of the super Earth. Again, if you really don't understand the history of our galaxy or the history of our solar system, I would suggest ordering my book, Our Cosmic Origin, to really find out what took place in the birthing of Enki and how Draman seduced Anu into having intercourse with her, which gave us the bastard son Enki, when Enlil was the one that was the original, Lyrian Pleiadian descendant. I'm sorry, Lyrian Syrian Pleiadian descendant. Thank you, Nada, for that super chat. Thank you, thank you. What is it, Athena? What's going on? I took you potty right before the live. Please tell me you don't have to pee again. Do you have to pee again? Because I'm not going to go take you potty right now. Look, I have 2,400 people that are on me to answer their questions. She's just looking at me. They're all depending on me to answer their questions. So, what is it? What's going on? You want to chill? Just sit. Just sit behind me and chill. All right. So, oh, you just want to lick me? Fine. Go ahead and lick me. Just not my upper hand. All right. Let's see. Sandy says, I have your book. So yeah, in that book, I also describe the real history of the Anunnaki. What can you tell us about the Merkaba light body? Well, in the Bible, it's known as the celestial body. It is the original body that we inherited as eternal beings of light. When we were in our light bodies, right, which exist in the fifth dimension and above, we were capable of transmigrating from dimension density to another. That is our original vehicle of transportation, allowing us to go from one realm to another realm, one dimension to the next, one planet to the next. It is through our light body in which we are able to extend, you could say, a version, not a version, but a portion of our energy combined with the elements of our planet to create a living bioorganic spaceship. Okay, so for instance, most of the galactic alliance fleets that are being piloted by allies of humanity, the good positive galactics, are actually driving organic vehicles, which is an extension of them. So they fuse their consciousness with their craft in order to pilot and navigate them. So that is the difference between the good guys, the good aliens, and the negative aliens who have no bio-living organic craft, who use dead metal as their spacecraft, okay? The Draco, the Greys, and those aliens that are part of the negative alien agenda syndicate definitely do not depend on their light body, because they lost their connection to God as they became to integrate with nanites and technology and cloning, serving their AI overlord. They eventually had to create craft that was, of course, metallic and dead matter, okay, which was not living, which was not conscious. So our Merkaba is the beginning stages that allows us to use the software that was given to us once we start using 12 strands of DNA, allowing us to generate a vehicle of transportation that commonly begins to resemble the orbs that we see in the sky, and of course, spacecraft coming from the positive allies of the Galactic Alliance. No more water. Do you have Audible books of yours, Ishmael? No, just the our cosmic origin is an Audible, but not the secret government yet. Good question though. And I also hear that XRP and XLM, as a result of this transition that's happening between the White Hats and the Cabal, is going to go on a rise. So probably sometime in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to have my good friend and buddy who's an expert in that, Mel Carmine, join me on a live so he can talk about that. And yes, the fog, again, the fog, guys, it's very similar to cloud seeding, right? It's designed to get people sick, and it's definitely man-made. If you guys could excuse me, I have to use the restroom. I'll be right back in a minute. I am back, and hopefully, I'm crossing my fingers. Hopefully, I don't get booted out today like I did last time. Oh, by the way, I tried resuming my live last time, but it wouldn't let me. So, in the event that I get booted out, I'm just going to go ahead and quickly try to reload and resume the live without being cut out. So, just remain here patiently if in the event that they boot me out again. All right, guys? All right, so let's take some more questions. Oh, something else came in. Something else came in that I wanted to share with you guys regarding, let's see, what came in right now. Breaking news. Remember Trump's executive orders 13818 and 13848, which said basically any entity, person, country, or organization, etc., who engaged in human traffic, you know what I mean, the transference of humans illegals, as or election interference, could have their assets seized by the U.S. government, including property. So this just came in. Another important thing just came in is that Trump just announced he will terminate all the last-minute executive orders that Brandon put out in the last 4 years, which is good news. Okay, it says Brandon is doing everything possible to make the transition as difficult as possible, from lawfare such as has never been seen before to costly and ridiculous executive orders on the green news scam and other money wasting hoaxes. Fear not, these orders will all be terminated shortly. And this is coming from President Donald Trump, by the way. That's where I'm quoting from. They will be terminated shortly, and we will become a nation of common sense and strength. Mega. Okay. So, yeah, let's continue our questions. Yes, that's right. The Terminator, Trump. He's going to terminate all the baddies. Are there any real Arcturians on TikToks? Okay, I said this before and I'll say it again because some people are asking me if Commander Valiant Thor is on Twitter. No, no. The Galactics don't do social media, all right? Period. They don't do social media. Real extraterrestrials in higher dimensions do not engage in social media, all right? That is too primitive for them, all right? They don't do social media. Yes. Canada and the U.S. are ultimately going to become one nation. That's what I heard. Okay, it is in the schedule, right? It is in process to make Canada the 51st state of the United States government. And again, all of these is leading to what I call in my book the different 22 federated regions. This is what I call in our cosmic origin. It's at the last chapter when I reveal the new Commonwealth of Nations, the new world structure as we enter the new Earth. If you guys want to get familiar with that, um, I would order the first edition. Actually, no, the first edition is not out yet. Maybe another time I'll go over the different federated regions. Margarita DeRocher says, Ishmael, make a second channel in case you get booted out. Um, Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Ishmael, whatever happened to Tatum Sawyer? I have no clue. She just disappeared. You used to collab with her. Yes, I do remember. Enjoyed your lives back in the day. Yes, I do remember. I'm not sure what happened to her. I am not sure. I haven't talked to her in over almost 2 years now. Was the half moon fake last night? It sure looked like it. This is coming from Heather J. Ritzema. No, I don't think so. That was the real moon. That was the real moon. Is the financial system going to change with Trump? Yes. Yes, big time. Not only will the financial system change, but the entire government will change. So the answer to that is absolutely. When Trump comes back, everything's going to be changed, restoring it back to the original constitution. Do we eat and sleep in 5D? This is a question from Mara Samuels. I'm trying to address people that I've never addressed before. So, yeah, I want to give everybody a chance here. And the answer to that is no. In the 50, you don't have to eat solid foods anymore. Neither do you have to sleep, only if you want to. Then what you do is you materialize into a lower density so your body becomes more physical so that you can enjoy a piece of cake or a good piece of steak. But in the fifth dimensional energy, we only live off of universal life force, right? Which is very similar to the breatharians, right? We don't need to eat solids anymore. We are being generated by the universal life force that emanates through our energy bodies, right? Materializing our physical or feeding our physical bodies. What am I going to make for dinner? Says Baby Blue Notes. I'm probably going to have 6 eggs and 3 egg whites with it, which is about 60 grams of protein. So my final meal for now on, I've been studying the best things to eat for the man's hormones. They say that eating eggs at night is good for males because it increases testosterone by 300%. So lately, my latest meals or my last meal of the day has always been eggs. Now I've been doing that for a few months, and it's been working for me. Eggs are loaded with vitamins and minerals. Not to mention, it's a good source of protein and amino acids. Let's see. Yes, we're definitely living in exciting times, says Lauren M. Absolutely. Saturn reactive. Ooh, let's see. Let me rewind that. Let's see. Saturn reactivate as second sun. No, this is a question from John Starr. No, it is Jupiter. Jupiter is the one that's scheduled to reactivate or to ignite, rather, into the second sun. Yes, yes. This is a question from our galactic sister by the name of Inmi Lanya. She says, "Thank you, Ishmael. So Trump is coming back within the next few weeks, within the next couple of weeks." Absolutely. The answer to that is yes. And it was already sealed and ratified by Congress today. They approved the Electoral College, and he was, his presidency was granted to him after all, which is a good thing. Yeah, so now we could say that we are now going to be witnessing the fall of the puppets, the clones that were left over of the deep state. I can't answer that question about mortgages and stuff like that or your bills. Um, no, you don't have to stop paying your mortgage or bills. This is a good question, and this could be associated with ascension symptoms. This is a question from Christina Nardasi. Nardasi, welcome, welcome, Christina. She says, Ishmael, why are we heating up and a few minutes later cold? That is a symptom of your body mutating at a cellular level. Okay, we are being modified right now. We are going through an upgrade. Every single one of you is. So we're all going to be experiencing these upgrades with different physical symptoms. So the fact that you're feeling hot and then you're feeling cold is because your body is shifting to acclimate to the new living conditions of a fifth dimensional reality, which is going to be right in the center. It's going to be tropical. Somebody said that happened to me. This is from Project Skyfalls. Thank you for sharing that, Project Skyfalls. What about gold and silver? Tino says that. Tino Stockwell. Hey, Tino. I'm sorry, Tony. Troy. My bad. Troy Stockwell. He says, what's going to happen to gold and silver? Well, I believe XRP is backed up by gold and XLM is backed up by silver. Or is it the other way around? But those are the only digital currencies backed by precious metals that are going to remain when the QFS turns on. Everything else is crashing, guys. Bitcoin, everything else that is not aligned with the new gold standard is not going to make the next few months. Okay, this is the year of transition. Gold and silver, XRP, XLM. Okay, Ripple. That is the only thing that's going to be left behind. No, Trump is not going to be moving us into Bitcoin. That is a rumor. Okay, that is again. There are three Trumps. You have his double, right, with the blue tie. The real Trump always wears a red tie, and then you have a third Trump that is generated by negative AI. Okay, so that Trump is working with the, you could say, with the evil side of Elon. It's not the real Trump. The real Trump is going to be instrumental in taking us into the golden age. Okay, so there are multiple Trumps. So no, the real Trump is not going to put us under or implement Bitcoin. He's not, right? The real Trump is all about QFS and returning us back to a gold standard, a real U.S. Treasury, according to the original Constitution. That is a good possibility, but I think it's going to happen closer or around the 20th of this month. The announcement, well, let's just call it the public announcement of Nasser Gessera. But yeah, Maggie Hill says, I heard Sarah was to begin this week. Have you heard anything regarding this? No, but I did hear that we are probably, if anything, it's probably going to be after the 20th of this month, or maybe even on the 20th again. Once the White Hats come into position, into office, they're going to be doing things left and right. Somebody's saying, when is JFK Jr. coming out, right? Is that your question? This is a question from Juniper. Juniper just because. Juniper just because. Well, which JFK are you talking about? Are you talking about the original JFK? Or are you talking about all of those people trying to proclaim that they're JFK? Again, there's only one JFK Jr. There's a lot of pretenders and false people trying to really steal his identity. But the real one, um, there is only one. That's all I'm going to say. And as far as him coming out, he could only come out once everything is cleared, once we have fully been restored to our original constitution, when there is no more deep state, no more swamp, no more globalist cabal. That's when he comes out. Because as a descendant of King David, he is their greatest threat. It turns out that him and Trump and Princess Diana have the highest concentration of the Davidic bloodline that can be traceable all the way to King David of Israel, the original Israelites, not the the fake. I don't want to say that word here, but you know what I'm talking about. The fake people of today over there that are claiming to be Israelites. No, the real Israelites are not over there. They're actually in America. Yes, the three-letter agency that begins with the I that nobody really likes is definitely going to be out of here next to all the other agencies. Basically, all the agencies, that one, the 16th Amendment, if that's what you're referring to, right? The IS, that was never legally ratified, by the way, so it is unconstitutional. But as far as like the other three-letter agencies, they're just going to be reformed, right? They're going to kick out the bad guys and they're going to bring in white hats to occupy those positions, in other words. So they are going to be reformed. Yes, the true King David bloodline. That's one of the things I talk about in The Secret Government, Invisible Architects, is the war between the White Hats and the Cabal is underlying, is all related to a bloodline, the war of the bloodlines. The war between the bloodline of King David and the war between the bloodline, between King David's bloodline and Nimrod's bloodline of Babylon, the Nimrod Isu bloodline, as I call it. All right, the Nimrod Isu bloodline is the human reptilian hybrid race that has dominated our world for thousands of years. Their time is up. Right, the bloodline that stems from King David is the angelic lineage, of you could say the original lineage that can be traceable back to Atlantean times, the one that was not corrupted with, primitive genetics. Are medbits coming in January since Trump is coming back? That is a very good possibility. Very good possibility. Yes, that is a good. That is a. I'm going to go ahead and share this with everyone. Amanda Tumpori saying, Ishmael, then are we part of the King David bloodline? All of us starseeds, yes, because back then, the patriarchs and matriarchs of the original Israelites were actually cedars. Okay, Solomon had many children, proliferating the bloodline of King David. During the dark medieval ages, under the protection of the Knights Templars, the priority of Zion, were also proliferating the bloodline so that all of us could incarnate here in human form. So, in a way, a lot of us, yes, a lot of us old souls are part of the bloodline of the original we could say the original divine seed that could be traceable back to the angelic human race that existed in the Atlantean times, right? Which could be traceable back to Noah, right? Noah was a huge carrier of the angelic seed. He did not have any reptilian. That's why God preserved him during the flood, right? The entire Old Testament, guys, depicts the war between Enlil Zeus and Enki Poseidon. Okay, and yes, that is why AB blood type is considered rare. That and O negative are the rarest type. Absolutely. So yeah, Rh negative bloodline is not reptilian. Rh negative bloodline is angelic. It was transferred to our world by the Syrian Lyrians, the original seeders of planet Earth, not the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki never seeded us. And that is one thing I'm going to be correcting in my next book to come, right? Because right now, there are some infiltrators in our community that are actually pushing this idea of the ancient alien savior mentality, where they want us to worship the return of the Anunnaki, and that's not the case, right? They're preparing us for something uh, that is actually false, right? Enki never created us. We were already here. The Anunnaki have only been in the picture for the last 400,000 years, right? Humanity has been in the picture for the last 30 million years. Let's just be real. No, let me correct myself. 500 million years. The original Earth was Tara. Fourth, 5, and 60 Earth existed 500 million years ago. That's when the founders seeded the original human race on this planet. Yeah, the original royal blood could be traceable to the Anuhasi, which is again, it originated in Sirius, right? The office of the Christ, that's where the office of the Christ is scheduled. So the bloodline that gave us Zeus and Lil, that led to King David, that led to Jesus, could all be traceable back to the kings and queens or the Elohim of Lyra. The Elohim of Lyra, right? That is so true, which of course is symbolized by the lion. The lion is the animal emblem of this lineage, and that's the reason why in this live I decided to use a beautiful thumbnail with Trump, the lion, which represents the seed of David, and the eagle. The eagle represents Enlil. The serpent represents Enki. There's another correspondence. The eagle represents Enlil, Zeus. The serpent, the snake represents Enki, Poseidon. There you go. All right. We are at war with the reptilians, right? Not the angels, right? Zeus was an angel. He was a representative of the lineage of Michael of the house of Elohim in ancient times. I mean, yeah, Zeus. Zeus Enlil was a representative. What is O positive blood? Okay, this is a question from Sandy. So if you are positive, if you are not negative, all it means is that 3% of your DNA is related to the chimpanzees and the primitives of Africa. That's all it is. There's nothing wrong with that because the other 97% of your DNA is crystalline in nature. All right, it is what connects you to the other dimensions. It's what makes you or restores you back to a celestial being, an immortal. Okay, right now humans are only using about 3 or 4% of their DNA, which is very, very similar to the primitives, like the Cro-Magnon, the Homo habilis. Those primitives that existed in ancient times and that stemmed out of Africa. I'm looking for questions, but all I see is you guys chatting among yourselves. So for those that have questions, just type them in capital letters. Oh, I think I see one. What are your thoughts? Okay, this is okay. Yes, I know this has been a huge thing on social media. It's been breaking the internet. The interview with Billy Carson and Wes Huff. Okay, what are your? Somebody's asking me. This is Chichi. Welcome, Chichi. She's asking me, what are your thoughts on Wes Huff? Do you think he's a deep state cabal pushing the religion dogma? I don't think he's deep state. I truly think he's an honorable scholar. And the fact that he did put Billy Carson to shame is it's heartbreaking in a sense for Billy Carson, but in a way it's also refreshing to know that this guy really knows his material. Okay, um, I have nothing against him. I think he's brilliant. All right. I think he's a brilliant biblical scholar. And it would be nice to one day have a conversation with him because I do believe in the crucifixion. I do believe in the resurrection. But I would like to see what he thinks about, the bigger picture regarding our cosmic origin. All right. So it would be nice to have a conversation with Wes Huff, not a debate, but a conversation. Okay. So yeah, I don't think he's deep state. I really think he's genuinely into his work. Um, he is diligent about and passionate about being a biblical scholar to the point where he studied the Coptic text, the Egyptian text. He probably even read the Aramaic text, of course, if it was translated in English. But he is the type of guy who really did his research when it comes to biblical scholarships or biblical scholar, anything to do with the Bible. Okay, I respect Wes Huff. There's nothing wrong with him, but yeah, I don't think he understands the bigger picture. I don't think he understands the extraterrestrial connection as related to the angels and demons. As many fundamentalist Christians, don't. But it's okay because when all of these informations and all of these revelations are disclosed to the public by the alliance, it's definitely going to cause a lot of it's going to cause them to really just step out of the box and start thinking beyond the box. In other words, so that's my opinion. But yeah, I did notice that he's been gaining a lot of popularity on the internet as a result of his debate with Billy Carson. Well, no, not necessarily. This is a question from Trivena. Trivena, welcome, welcome. So the Anunnaki just enhanced this even more. Yes and no. They enhanced the Homo erectus to create the missing link, right? The missing link, which happened overnight. But they also downgraded the already existing Atlantean race, which was uh, an advanced human race that existed for about a million years, about 500,000 years before the arrival of the Anunnaki. That was actually began by the Lyran Syrian Pleiadian coalition. Christine Pereira, welcome, welcome, and thank you so much for the super chat. Chi says, thanks for answering. You're welcome, Chi. Dali's Muse, welcome, Dali's Muse, and thank you for that compliment. Ishmael, I feel such an honorable frequency with you. Thank you for your integrity. You are so welcome. You are so welcome. All right, this is an interesting questions. Um, this is an interesting question from John Star. Welcome, John Star. Again, guys, I'm trying to answer questions from people that I've never addressed before, just to give everybody a fair chance. So John Star is asking me, Martians, where did breakaway groups go? Martians. Okay, so the breakaway groups have always existed since the beginning of time. All right. For believe it or not, Earth in the life was first seated in our universe. This might sound a little far fetched. Life was first seated in the universe when Earth was in the higher dimensions, in the eighth dimension, before it dropped into the fifth. And this was in Lyra. The original Earth was in Lyra. It was known as planet Avion. Okay. So from planet Avion, there's been breakaway groups that eventually spread out to other parts of the galaxy and other parts of the universe to colonize the different solar systems, and that's became known as the dispersion of the original humans from Lyra. Okay, so breakaway groups have always existed. Now, if you are referring to modern breakaway groups, they began in the 1920s with the German cult, the Vril Society, and of course the Thule Society. Okay, they were the first ones to break away in modern times when they made contact with the Nordics of the Aldebaran star system, and then of course sealed their allegiance with the Draconians in the late 1940s, creating what became known as the Dark Fleet. Now, the Dark Fleet has not only been a huge issue here in our solar system, but apparently it was a huge issue in the entire universe. Okay, so that's why the good guys, which is a collaboration between the Galactic Federation of Worlds and the Earth Alliance, had to create Solar Warden, Radiant Glory, and Radiant Guardians in order to combat the Dark Fleet. So breakaway groups in modern times originated with the Nazis, and then later the Alliance also began to create their own breakaway groups in order to join the space war against the Nazis and the Dracos, to answer your questions. But ultimately, we could say that breakaway groups were the ones that went into the inner Earth, right? Right? The Atlanteans, I'm sorry, the inner Earth civilizations were once on the surface. So a lot of the advanced interdimensionals that live within the inner Earth used to also live on the surface during the times of Atlantis, during the times of Lemuria, and even further than that, going back to the original Earth when it was a super Earth, Tiamat, during the times of the first seeding 4 million years ago here in our solar system. So the original breakaway groups that now are spread out all throughout the galaxy inside the inner Earth used to once live on the surface on this planet. So yeah, in that regard, they have always existed. Kentucky Pride, what is going to happen to the clones out there? Will they fall and will this stop? Absolutely, yes. So when the alliance takes power, right, as the restoration of the republic comes to effect, we're definitely going to start seeing a lot of the clones dropping, and that explains Trudeau and the Chancellor of Austria, and of course I think it's the Prime Minister, is it, or is it the leader of Australia and all of those other countries that have been currently under the control of the cabal. So yeah, we're definitely going to start seeing the clones worldwide drop as the republics become restored worldwide. This is a question from Stacy Norton. It's a very good question. I will be addressing it. She's asking me, Ishmael, do you have details about how our bodies are going from carbon to crystalline base? Well, again, it is directly related to the 10 strands of DNA that are currently disconnected. And of course, the other 96% of our DNA that we are currently not using. So as we begin to use more strands, then we begin to activate the crystalline genetics, which will allow us to use more potential, more capacity. All right, giving us back the gifts that we once had during the Atlantean times, and much more, by the way. So it is already underway at the cellular molecular level of reality. We are mutating. Not only are we mutating, but also every living specimen on the planet, due to the fact that the solar system is almost fully immersed in the photon belt, right? Which is going to change us from Homo sapiens sapiens into Homo galactus overnight. Spontaneous evolution is about to take place on this planet. Are you guys ready? I sure am. Kentucky Pride is in the house. Thank you so much for the super chat. What is going to happen to the clones? Okay, I think I've already mentioned that. Oops. Let's see. What about Chinese leadership? Will it fall to? This is a question from Lynn Davis. Welcome, Lynn Davis. Absolutely, especially the CCP, not the Republic of China, but the CCP will fall because that is part of the globalist agenda. No, the fog does not have anything to do with the upgrades. Actually, no, let me correct myself. Yes, now that I think about it, yes. All right, right now they just told me no, no, no. The answer is yes. Okay, so I'm getting a telepathic message from one of the galactics, and yes, the reason that they're dispersing these man-made fogs is to counteract the activation of our crystalline genetics, but it's to no avail because there are certain measures that have been set into motion by the galactics that are counter-measuring the Cabal's attempt to suppress the activation of our dormant DNA. So the answer to that is yes. Yes, and that includes the stuff that they put in people's body, the nanoparticulates, all that stuff, right? The cloud seeding, trying to cover up the rays, right? Creating those artificial clouds. That is all part of the agenda, right? That's all part of trying to countermeasure the activation of our dormant DNA. Oh, this is a good question. I strongly suggest for you guys to take our Cosmic Origin course because I get a lot of questions that I answer there, such as how did the Emerald Order start and why? This is a question from Trivana. Welcome, Trivana. Well, the Emerald Order has always existed, okay? It has no beginning or end. It actually eventuated from the realms of eternity and it extended itself. It dropped in frequency in order to anchor in the what is known as the interdimensional alliance of free worlds, and that's how the Emerald Order became materialized in the physical realms. Right? This existed before the Galactic Federation. This existed before any republics. Right? It was always known as the Emerald Order. It stepped down from eternity into the realms of the finite in order to create harmony, peace, balance, and of course, counteract the dark forces to bring balance to the material realms, in other words. But yeah, again, I have new classes that I have for the month of February. For those that didn't get a chance to sign up for my classes in January, the February classes are up in my website or cosmicorigin.com, or you could always click it through the description. And again, for those that did not get a chance to vote for my book, Our Cosmic Origin, coming up for the awards in February, I always provide a link in the description. Now, I've been here for about an hour and 40 minutes. I'll go ahead and take one last question. Stock market yet to crash. This is coming from Henry Harrison. Thank you. You are the best. Well, I appreciate your compliment, but I am just one of many digital warriors. Thank you, though, for your compliment. And the answer to that question is yes. It is scheduled to collapse very, very soon. No, it's not. The fog is not detoxing us. This is a question from M. Ellie. No, it's actually doing the opposite of us. They're trying to put more nanoparticulates in our body, right? That's what the fog's been doing. Carolina says, "Hey Ishmael, do you think this is the last year that we will have to deal with taxes?" I sure hope so. It looks like it, right? As we do away with the 16th Amendment, which is the three-letter agency that starts with the I. I don't see why not. All right, guys, it is time for me to make my eggs. Getting about hungry. My stomach is speaking to me as I am very in tune with my body. So it is time for me to make some eggs so I can have my final meal before I head to bed. And with that in mind, I hope to see you guys in the next couple of days as I go live Wednesday night. So may the God force be with you all, and we'll see you in a couple of nights. Thank you so much, guys. Have a beautiful evening.